I'm Julianne Jones. I have been with Eye Care Center since January of 2024. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. I'm part of the administrative team, so I'm one of many that are working on the business. But I've been in eye care since I was a kid, basically, since I was 23, and have been through many different positions throughout the clinic into leadership and administration, but like 13 years now and have had a number of IT experiences. So I'm glad to talk to you about this because I think you guys are, for this size of clinic, we'll get into that, have been one of the best. You would think that you were our in-house IT. One of the most complex parts in ophthalmology, but healthcare, but more specifically ophthalmology, are the number of pieces of equipment, machines, high-end expensive machines, the sheer volume of data that we're collecting from patients. And it's very hard to force all of those systems to work together from an infrastructure perspective, just from a end user perspective. And if this is by far the best experience I've had with those things all working seamlessly without interruption, and you guys feel native to us rather than a third party. The complexity of the system, even we administratively can barely understand. And so you guys, it's nice that we have somebody that, hey, let me get you in touch with my IT team. And I typically would not even tell a vendor that you guys are not in-house because you are, as far as functionality goes, you're ours and our systems intimately, and that makes a huge difference when they're as complex as they are. And also, again, the volume of data that we're pumping out for one patient that has to be stored and very carefully taken care of because of HIPAA and because of it's a super high priority. Like none of us, even experienced administrative people, can even imagine protecting that, storing that, dealing with that without somebody that we implicitly trust. So I can think of a number. It was a month or two ago that we were system down. I don't know if it was the internet or the system, but I think within a matter of 10, 20 minutes, we had 2, maybe 3 people on site. Maybe one of them was planned and the other 2 showed up, but there have been very few times in critical situations where the response hasn't been as if you guys were already in the building. But outside of the emergencies that go on, and you guys are our first responders, every time one of our vendors or Medicare gives us a new rule or regulation, or we're out of storage, or this is gone end of life, you guys definitely are very good at giving us, here are your options, here's the best way to tackle it. And I do genuinely feel are trying to think about our bottom line, the least amount of impact, even if it's maybe not what's most beneficial to you guys. We definitely feel comfortable deferring to you that you're going to give us the best solution, including the price and all the things. Again, I feel like you are helping us make the right decision in an emergency, but then also as these things come up. They literally come up every week. Something changes that we have to deal with. And you guys are the experts for us. Yeah, I mean, I think the most important part of being HIPAA compliant is understanding the rules and regulations. And that's something that's very hard to even keep up with because they seem to certainly change, and then again, applying it. And so getting out ahead of it, making a recommendation in enough time for us to be able to make a plan. Again, I think the biggest part is just being the subject matter expert. It's so hard you almost have to be a lawyer to keep up with the changes. And so being able to rely on you guys, you just tell us the date and what we need to do. And it feels like you are as concerned about HIPAA compliance as we are. And so if we were working with an IT company that didn't have experience or expertise in healthcare, I feel like we would spend more time explaining the importance of that rather than, and of course, data is data and protecting it is important. But I think for us, it's at a different level than other consumer businesses. So you guys being the expert, giving us a heads up on the dates, again, picking equipment, working with back to the point about how many different vendors we have, how many pieces of software and how much equipment. There are a lot of moving parts, and there could be parts that are less educated or that are less up to speed or compliant, and you guys gatekeeping for us, I think, is really important. If we were working with a new vendor or new software, they're the backstop. They know better than me, so talk to them. Because they're not always as up to speed as you guys are, or we just don't know. We don't know there. You guys take our feedback and make changes as if you were within our company. I think timeliness comes to mind. You guys are monitoring that and you're tracking that and setting your own metrics. It doesn't feel like this is what you get, take it or leave it, which I think can happen in some very busy, growing IT companies. Like I know you don't have enough people probably to do all the work, but it does still feel like you are listening to our feedback, that it's not going into the wind. And then I've seen you guys go through a series of a feedback loop. We heard it, we tried this, how's it working? And that's been really above and beyond what I would expect from a third party, somebody who's not our. Why I would choose you guys over, very candidly, the complexity of and we went through this process last year with you guys, is understanding our infrastructure
That's okay.
Understanding our infrastructure though,
Yeah.
to the degree that you do, it's so complicated. And even as you guys have tried to explain it to me, I can barely understand it. And how could we function if somebody couldn't? You pull this lever and this thing happens. And by the way, we need to have 15 people pulling that lever at the same time. We would feel it every single day if we were working with somebody that didn't understand that, didn't own it, rather than this is just what you guys have and we're doing our best. I've never felt we were handicapping you guys from being able to give us the best service. And I have experienced that in the past where, oh, your equipment's this, or oh, the way you're set up prevents us from being able to do this. I've never felt like that. You work with what we've got. You'll enhance it or supplement it when, necessary, but I don't ever feel like there are excuses that you guys can't do something because of what we have. The equipment, the software, there are 100 at any given time to get a patient through the office, 100 moving parts that have to be working in sync. Some of them are from 20 years ago, some of them are brand new, some of them are local cloud, and that's just a lot of infrastructure that you guys own. You guys are a trusted partner, and I think there are so many things that we worry about throughout the day. It's very refreshing for IT to not be one of those things. So from just a peace of mind standpoint, but also a capacity, like I don't, the busy doctors don't, the board, like it gives us capacity to do other things to keep the business solvent and to worry about the people rather than there being an IT event to deal with every day. It gives me peace of mind. I feel very confident when talking to patients about their data. We have patients that are obviously increasingly worried about their social security, their medical records, their credit cards that they're giving us, and we're asking for more information year over year. We need more information, and we've always felt very confident saying our IT team is locked tight, and even when competitors in the area have had big breaches, it's very easy to tell them all of the ways or reasons why. We're very confident that that's less likely to happen to us. So that peace of mind, that confidence, that I don't have the bandwidth to deal with IT. It's so nice, even on a form, to put, this goes to ViaTek support, and they'll reach out to me if they need me. That's the only way that we can continue to move our business forward, is to not have to make space for that. And again, I think it's about as cheap as you could go to have in-house IT. No, but really, believe me, the last two companies, IT was so bad, then you start thinking about, okay, if I spent X amount more, then I could have one guy here who still, it would probably not be better, but it would be more customized, or they would understand better, because I think that's been the biggest obstacle with prior experience has been, they don't understand it. They don't understand it. There's probably not another office that you could compare us to that you work with, even within ophthalmology, because everybody chooses different equipment, everybody chooses different, you guys knowing and it not feeling like I have to translate or explain or whatever. Certainly in an emergency. And I've definitely texted in an emergency.
Great.
And I think some of the tools that you guys have sent out, trying out the chat feature, you can call or email. I've never called the office and not gotten a response.
Yeah.
I've never reached out and not gotten a response, and that's no, it's also been really nice too to have somebody like regularly here.
Yeah.
I know that's a big lift for you guys, but it's been really nice to have that person physically here, checking in, knowing where people's offices are, becoming familiar with the staff. They just don't even report it because they think it's not gonna get fixed, or they think it's not going to be taken. And so having somebody familiar and it not being this mysterious, void that they're sending something to, I think goes a long way. And we probably bubble things up sooner than before it becomes a major problem.
That's a big thing. We don't want things to fester.
So I think you guys being, again, physically here weekly, but then so native and comfortable with us, we're working more offensively than defensively because I love the days when Greg's here and we're like, we got nothing for you. And he's, and we're like, that's really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And that has happened more often as he's been here more, and just, it's been really good. On the follow-up, the follow-through, and again, if for some reason follow-up got lost, I've appreciated being able to say, hey, and then, matter of fact, I think I owe you I was supposed to look for that email. But the follow-up and the follow-through, I think, is equally as important because, again, I don't even have the capacity, we don't have the capacity to be able to keep track of everything and make sure everything gets completed.